Computer? Computer, are you there? Yeah, I arrived last night. Well, it was wonderful, but has anything happened while I was gone? Well, that's pretty cool. Anything else? Well, I had to get to this movie sooner or later. And I think we better get started right now. Cue the logo. Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Oral Reports. And hoo boy, am I glad to finally be home after such a long vacation in Europe. And while it was an exciting trip, there were a few flaws, like getting bitten by mosquitoes, having my shoulder burned by the sun. But out of all those things, the one part about my trip that ruined it were my parents. Don't get me wrong, they are good people at times, but it wasn't very pleasant for me to listen to their frustration bickering throughout the trip. However, as I previously stated, I do like hanging out with my parents when things are pleasant and friendly, but there are times when they can be very inconsiderate, like when they drag me into seeing certain films that I wouldn't like. And trust me, that's been happening a lot. However, the movie that I have to blog today is not only one of those bad films that my parents made me watch in theaters, but it's also a very bad family comedy. So, let's get this over with. Released on August 7th, 2013, the movie is We're the Millers. So, let's get started. Small-time pot dealer David Clarke learns the hard way that no good deed goes unpunished. Trying to help some teens, he is jumped by thugs and loses his cash and stash. And now, David's in big debt to his supplier, and to wipe the slate clean, he must go to Mexico to pick up the guy's latest shipment. To accomplish this mission, David devises a foolproof plan. He packs a fake family into a huge RV and heads south of the border for a wild weekend that is sure to end with a bang. And what are my thoughts? Yep, this movie is bad. In fact, it became one of my top 13 films that I hate. But let's move on to Mustang notes. Development on the movie first began in 2002. By 2006, the film was announced with Steve Buscemi as the pot dealer, with Will Arnett in another role, but no further development was made. Production began in Wilmington, North Carolina on July 23, 2012. Filming also took place in New Mexico. It was presented during the 2013 Traverse City Film Festival. And while I do hate this movie, it mainly received mixed reviews from other critics. But despite all that, it did manage to gross about $270 million worldwide during its theatrical run, against a $37 million budget, which is not too bad. And of course, it was nominated for 4 People's Choice Awards and 6 MTV Movie Awards, winning 2. In 2014, New Line Cinema said a sequel was in development, though I do pray that said sequel does not happen. Please. Anyway, one of the reasons why I hate this movie is because most of the comedy is just so raunchy that it makes me feel very uncomfortable. No surprise that this movie is rated R. I mean, there are several scenes involving sexual innuendo. And look, I may be 29 years old now, and I did see this movie in theaters when I was 22, but that kind of stuff just makes me cringe. Especially when one scene shows 2 women doing it. Plus, this movie is packed with other bad stuff, like muggers, murderers, and rapists. Also, the scene at the US-Mexico border where we see a group of runners coming from underneath the RV was really random. And the scene where Kenny got bitten in his junk by a Mexican red-kneed tarantula, which was found in a basket of fruit, really freaked me out. Also, some parts of the movie kind of feel similar to other films that I've heard about, like National Lampoon's Vacation, and RV. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, let's move on to the cast. Let's begin with David Clarke, played by Jason Sudeikis, who has been in Blue Sky's Epic, but he also got to voice Red in the Angry Birds movies. Great. Another reason for me to hate this movie. Anyway, David is a drug dealer who farms the Millers. And like I said earlier, the reason why David is doing this smuggling job is because he was robbed by a group of street muggers whom he and Kenny were trying to rescue Casey from. To me, while David's job may be a tad despicable and illegal, I do find his personality to be sort of relatable and sympathetic, due to him wanting a family of his own. However, I think sometimes throughout this film, David lets his job go to his head. Next we come to Sara OReilly, aka Rose, played by Jennifer Aniston, whom I've talked about in my blogs of The Iron Giant and Warner Brothers Storks. Sara is an exotic dancer who lives in David's apartment building, and to me, Sara is an okay character due to her wanting to pay for her eviction. Plus, I did find it understandable of why she quit her job as a stripper, due to her employer wanting her to make out with the customers for money. Now that was just going too far in my opinion. Also, I think, while I'm not really a big fan of exotic dancing, Jennifer does a pretty good job dancing, even if one of those dancing scenes kind of ruins my, feelings for a certain Aerosmith song called Sweet Emotion. But, on the other hand, I did like the scene where Sara punches a weird guy named Scotty P, who was annoying Casey. Next we come to Kenny Rothmore, played by Will Poulter, who won the BAFTA Rising Star Award for his role in this film. Anyway, Kenny is a socially awkward and underconfident 18-year-old kid. And in my opinion, I think Kenny is a big-hearted kind of person. And I like his friendship relationship with David and Casey, though I did feel bad when his junk got bitten by that Mexican red-knee tarantula. Plus, I think Kenny is also shy around girls. Next we have Casey Mathis, played by Emma Roberts, whom has been in Hotel for Dogs, Wild Child, Nancy Drew from 2007, and The Flight Before Christmas. Anyway, Casey is a 19-year-old runaway and a thief. And while I do like Emma Roberts as an actress, I have mixed feelings for her role as Casey. On one hand, she does look cute, and she's very sympathetic due to her parents being neglectful, but Casey is one of the reasons why David does his drug smuggling job. However, I did kind of like the part where she teaches Kenny to kiss, which kind of reminds me of the time when my theater friends taught me how to do that before I got to do a similar kiss when I was Allie Hackham in Oklahoma. Yeah, moving on. Our main villain, Brad Girdlinger, is played by Ed Helms, who got to be in Illumination's The Lorax, the 2015 Vacation movie, and he narrated the Penguins documentary. Now, Brad is a drug lord who hires David to smuggle marijuana from Mexico. And in my eyes, I find this guy to be kinda odd. You see, due to Ed's performance, I don't think he's trying to be villainous, although his bodyguards seem more threatening than him. Also, I just can't believe that Brad has a whale in his own office aquarium. Anyway, the reason why Brad hires David to smuggle marijuana is not only to settle David's debt, but to also put Pablo Chacon out of business. Next we come to Don and Edith Fitzgerald, played by Nick Offerman and Catherine Hahn. These two people are folks who befriend the Millers. However, in my opinion, I think Don sticks out the most due to him being a DEA agent. But on the other hand, I kind of like these two due to them helping the Millers by pulling their RV to an auto repair shop after it overheated. Not to mention the scene where they arrested Chacon and later Brad. Also, at the end of the film, Don puts the Millers in a witness protection program. Their daughter, Mellisa, is played by Molly Quinn, best known as the Nickelodeon voice for Princess Bloom from the Winx Club. In the movie, Mellisa plays out as Kenny's love interest, and in my opinion, I think she is pretty and all, but I can't believe that she witnessed Kenny's kissing lesson. But I am glad that she and Kenny finally got their official kiss after saving her from Pablo Chacon. Finally, we come to our second main villain, Pablo Chacon, a Mexican drug lord played by Tomer Sisley. To me, this guy seems much more threatening than Brad. Plus, he's very dangerous. His goal is to reclaim his marijuana from David and his fake family and kill them. Other actors in the movie include Matthew Wigg, Louis Guzman, Thomas Lennon, Mark L. Young, and Ken Marino. And now let's move on to my final words. overall, We're the Millers is one of the worst comedies I've ever seen, next to films like Snatched, Borat, and Spy. The plot of the movie is really weird, the comedy is cringeworthy and uncomfortable, and while the actors are decent, the main characters are okay, but sometimes nothing special, while the Fitzgeralds are more likable. One of the main villains is a complete joke, while the other one is absolutely dangerous. But on the other hand, the bloopers at the end of the movie make up for all the trashy stuff that I had to witness while watching this drugged up movie. No pun intended. As for my rating, I give this film a 33%. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me again next time, because I think it's high time to begin Nightmare Month again. Mustang Power.